Right, yes, hello, and welcome back to Free Vinyl Discovery. This week, I took a little bit of a punt. I decided to listen to an album that I knew one song from, but it was a bit of a dodgy one, as far as I was concerned. This week, we're talking about the debut album from A Flock of Seagulls. If you know this album, you know which song I know. I ran, bracket, So Far Away. This album is a interesting looking one, to say the least. We've got some UFOs going on there and God knows what else in the foreground. It's a visual attack, let's put it that way. Slight rippage here. It's definitely got some play. Once again, some mystery stainage going on. Clearly, parts of this collection were stored in a bit of a drippy area. It plays perfectly though, and that's what's important when it comes to vinyl. The inner sleeve is a bit boring. Whether it came like that originally is anyone's guess, but who cares? It plays well, and that's what we're here for here on Free Vinyl Discovery. Now, listening to the album was enlightening. I was nervous. I thought, oh God, let's get this out of the way now. It's time to do A Flock of Seagulls. But actually, it's really good. It opens up with Modern Love is Automatic, which put me at ease instantly. It is very 80s, yes, but you know what? It's fine. If you can get on board with that sound, it's actually quite good. There's a lot of thought that's gone into putting the album together, and everything flows really well. I think that 80s music, especially early 80s music where this originates from, gets a bad rap for being boring, for being simplistic, for just being the same sound from artist to artist. And I have talked about that in some artists already on this series. But A Flock of Seagulls isn't that way. Sure, the sound is painfully 80s, especially on I Ran. That is probably the worst offender, and perhaps that's why it was so commercially successful at the time, because that's just what people were going for. The rest of the album doesn't play like that. Messages is a really interesting song. He's the singer, I don't know his name, but he's really hitting those high notes. He's playing around a lot with tone. It's really good. I Ran then comes on, which I like the song, right? But I thought that their song would perhaps be a bit damaging to the rest of the album. It doesn't. It flows in really well. It fits in perfectly. It doesn't feel like, oh, that's the hit, right? Nothing else really matters. This is a really good album to listen to. Space Age Love Song, I could love or leave. It's all right, though, and You Can Run is a great way to end that A-side. The B-side opens up with Telecommunication. It then goes on to Standing in the Doorway. Don't Ask Me is a pretty good one. And DNA, Man-Made closes the album though, which I found really enjoyable indeed. This is a good album. If you like 80s synth pop, you need to give A Flock of Seagulls a chance. Maybe you already have and I'm behind on the trend. I don't know. But I was always a little bit nervous. I do know one other song of theirs, which is A Photograph of You, which comes from a later album. But that's a really sweet song. And it just goes to show that A Flock of Seagulls actually, I suppose it goes to show me, you might have already known that they were great, but Flock of Seagulls, they took the synth pop sound and they were actually quite ahead of their time in terms of pairing it with really good and strong lyricism. And I don't think people realise just how melancholic some 80s music is. And this is in some way. I don't feel as though this is a overly positive album. I'm really pleased to have this album as it turns out. I'll definitely be playing it again. It's a great sounding album actually. I'm an 80s boy, I can't complain. And I'm not going to, not on this one anyway. What do you think of A Flock of Seagulls? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you again next week.